2024, in my view, should be an action-packed year for good governance to prevail in the continent of Africa and for the world. I just see weak leadership in our nation. And apart from Kwame Nkrumah, maybe Achampon and President Mills, all other leaders have not shown the muscle that is required to tell off the world that Ghana is Ghana, that Africa is Africa, and that African resources are for Africans. In 2024, you will see me as the presidential candidate of the People's National Convention.
Wow.
Next year by now, I mean, you will be coming to the Flagstaff House to be speaking to His Excellency,
right,
President Bernard Anbataayela Mornah.
Wow.
Because I know that you are frustrated and disturbed by what is happening in the NDC.
Wow.
I know you are frustrated and disturbed by how MPP told us they were going to fix our mess and they have not fixed. You cannot vote for any one of them if sincerely you want your life to be better.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to another edition of Talk Time. Except that this time around it's not with Kwesi Pratt, it's again with Koku Alamasor. It's always a pleasure to connect with all of you. Many thanks for tuning in. On tonight's edition, we shall be looking at the activities of the People's National Convention, the PNC for that matter, going into the 2024 general elections. You do realize that most of the political parties, or I should say the major political parties, i.e. the National Democratic Congress, the NPP, they have already conducted their national executive elections. Some of them have even already conducted the presidential primaries and then the parliamentary primaries. The NPP currently is conducting, or they will be conducting their parliamentary primaries soon. But it appears that the PNC, the People's National Convention, has lagged behind for that matter. For a party that has no parliamentary representation and hasn't done so well, especially in recent elections, you'd think that they'll quickly put their house in order and make sure that they organize the needed elections going into the 2024 general elections. But we are going to be having conversations in that relation going forward, how the PNC intends to reorganize in order to catch the eye of the Ghanaian people once again. I've been joined by Comrade Bernard Mornah. He is a friend to this station, Pan-African Television. You see him on the morning show. You see him on Alaji and Alaji. You see him on Palava as well. But tonight we have him on Talk Time. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, boss.
And welcome.
Thank you.
Right. I said in my preamble that it appears that the PNC, as we know, I think it is trite knowledge, has been bedeviled with a litany of issues. Somewhere 2022, thereabout, the issues were many. The likes of Audu Ishak and Co. had to even be suspended, consequently. Issues in relation to the then flag bearer, Pasira, and a host of others. We thought that by now the PNC would put its house in order, especially when we have just a few months to the elections. Maybe I may not be abreast of happenings behind the scenes. So we need you to tell us what exactly has been going on with the People's National Convention.
First, I think that it will be proper to wish you the very best in 2024. And this is my first encounter to meet with you in the year 2024. It is my hope that 2024 does not bring along the debits of 2023, and to hope that everything will fall into place for you, your family, and for Pan-Africa Television as well.
Amen.
Let me also take the moment to say that I have not been happy about global events and particularly Africa's response to some of the challenges that confront the world. And I want to urge Africans that if we want to continue to play a significant role in world affairs, we must shun the ugly tendencies, particularly that are happening in Israel or with Israel in the Gaza Strip, and the kind of what I call nonsensical things that are happening. I've heard over the weekend that Palestine or the Hamas has agreed for a temporary truce to allow for medical aid, to allow for food and other things to get into the Gaza Strip. Israel is there bombarding and killing people. And when they have run short of supplies, then the world says that you have a truce, get water for the people, get them medicine. And immediately they get medicine with the belief that they are going to have life. Then Israel is back there bombarding and killing people. And the world is sitting and looking unconcerned. Africa should realize that it is the same sort of bombardment that the colonialists use to undermine our progress and our existence as a people. So the fight for liberation, the fight for land for the Palestinian people should be a fight for the African people as well. That said, I want to wish many young people in Africa that 2024 should not be a year of docility. It should be a year of activity. It should be a year that we can call out our leaders for the wrongs that they have done and call out them when they are doing the right things. So 2024, in my view, should be an action-packed year for good governance to prevail in the continent of Africa and for the world.
Great.
Now, on the subject matter of the People's National Convention, first, let me issue that I am not a national executive of the People's National Convention, and that I lost my position as national chairman to the Honorable Moses Daniba in the 2020 Congress. And when I lost, I conceded victory to Honorable Moses Daniba. And therefore, to me and for me, Moses Daniba is the legitimate national chairman of the People's National Convention. In that election, Janet Nabila made history by becoming the first woman to become General Secretary of the People's National Convention. Don't forget that until 2007, when the PNC first elected its General Secretary, from 1992 till 2007, the General Secretary position of the People's National Convention was always an appointive one. And I was the first to be elected General Secretary, right? The youth organizer position was also an appointive one. So Emmanuel Wilson became the first youth organizer of the party. The national organizer position was also appointed. In fact, the only positions within the People's National Convention that were elected were the national chairman of the party, the 3 vice chairmen of the party, the national treasurer, and the presidential candidate. All other positions in the People's National Convention were actually appointive. Do you understand? And it was within that framework that the General Secretary of the party was the returning officer of during Congress. And so when I was elected General Secretary in 2007 for the first time, I noticed that we did not follow through with the Constitution, because when you were appointed, you were a returning officer. When you are elected, you can't continue to be a returning officer, because what it meant is that I have to receive the nominations of people, I have to process them, I have to declare them. When the Electoral Commission is finished, I have to now accept and say that they are winners or not. And I was going to be a participant. So I said, no, that was wrong. And so I proposed for the consideration of NEC and Congress that we must have a Congress committee that will take up the organization of Congress and all its attendant issues, so that the general secretary cannot be a participant in the elections and at the same time be the one to accept whether somebody is qualified or not. And that was the first time we introduced a Congress committee. And so it was under my watch that we did this. And subsequently, we had to do some serious constitutional amendments to lead to the party to where it is. First, let me go back to the issue of probably those of us who agitated that every position in the party must be subjected to elections. We did not think thoroughly. And I'm part of it. We did not think thoroughly because we thought that it provided the leader the opportunity to select who you are. Today, if you gave me the chance, I would say probably we should elect only one person. We should elect either the national chairman alone, or we should elect only the presidential candidate alone, so that that presidential candidate would then appoint somebody to be chairman, somebody to be general secretary, so that the kind of chaos that is facing bedeviling the PNC today will not exist. And probably the layman and his team, who did not allow elections of these positions, were right in their thinking than we are of today. Now today, general secretary is up in arms against the national chairman of a party because both of them went on a congress and both of them contested elections, right? And I have said that the party has rules, it has structures. It is not for anything that, for instance, the standing committee is the third highest decision-making body of the party, immediately after the national executives officers. So when you have national executive officers take any decision, that decision must be something that the national standing committee of the party probably has endorsed. And the position of the national standing committee must also be subservient to the national executive committee, that is NEC. And NEC, which is the second highest decision-making body, is subservient to the National Congress. So what it means is that National Congress of the People's National Convention is the apex, is the highest decision-making body in our political structure. So when Congress takes a decision, which decision says that Janet Nabila is elected General Secretary, Moses Daniba is elected National Chairman, David Apasara is elected Flag Bearer, no subordinate body is clothed with any authority to invalidate that decision.
Right.
So for any group of people to go and sit down and say that Janet has maligned the leader or the national chairman, and you go and call for NEC to suspend that person, it means that you are invalidating the authority of Congress. And so it is said that Janet was suspended. But Janet and her team says that at that particular meeting, you did not constitute a quorum. Now, the question is, if we did not constitute a quorum, do you go and organize a counter NEC? Then they went and organized a counter NEC. Instead of appealing that, one, you did not constitute a quorum, two, you did not subject the person to a disciplinary committee so that the person can also counter the argument. Then they went and constituted themselves into another NEC. And their NEC also now tends to say that, well, Janet is the substantive general secretary. The decision to suspend her does no hold. But that you, who was elected national chairman, has been suspended. You, who was elected flag bearer, you have been suspended. This, in my view, does not sit well with party progress. Over the years, what I have told many people is that I have disagreed, for instance, with Ahmed Ramadan, who was national chairman. Majority of people do know that I had always preferred, Sir Professor Edward Jadare as a veritable chairman in the PNC than Ahmed Ramadan. But on the two occasions that Jadare came to contest, Ramadan defeated him. And I was elected. Ramadan did not prefer me as general secretary, but we worked together. Ramadan was not my friend. But when we went to the party office, we did what was needful for the party's progress. Yes, right. After that, Ramadan had his line of friendship. In fact, I could be Ramadan's son. So, in terms of friends, I cannot go out along with Ramadan and his friends. So I dealt with my friends at my angle and at my age. Myself and Edward Mahama, we were not always the best of people. But anytime Edward Mahama won, in fact, in instances when Edward Mahama even lost, you could see that the thing ravaged me, particularly in 2012 when Hassan Ayerga defeated Edward Mahama. But I had to work with the leader of the party as the Congress has determined, whether I like you or not. And so you could see that all that mattered to me was party cohesion and the party's progress. Today, we have leaders that cannot meet, they cannot sit down on the same table to think about the progress of the party. Now, time is fast running away for us as a political party. I have moved the length and breadth of this country, and I continue to move around. And I hear majority of young people express their unhappiness about the manner in which the NPP has virtually run down this nation into a calamitous level. And they don't feel that the NDC that they rejected just yesterday should be the one they should return to power. They are looking for an alternative in the People's National Convention. And then here we are. We have shredded ourselves and scattered ourselves. And that harms some ones of us, our spirit. And it is important to situate that. I think that the level of dissipation of the PNC, the manner we have shredded ourselves, is unthinkable. As we speak, the party is in court. When I was an executive of the party, people always took us to court. Right? People always took the executive to court. But it was unlike today that you have the executive taking the executive to court. Other members of the party could take you to court. And then we went to court to establish that they were wrong. And the court will agree with us. But today it is executive taking executive to court. And so we have been in court. Anytime you wanted, and I have been doing some series of consultations. Look, when this matter was to start, I spoke to Professor Raymond Atuguba. I spoke to Dr. George Agulijam. I spoke to Reverend Ajay and told them that we were going to suffer this problem. And so they should come in to help. They tried talking to Edward Mahama. He told them that, look, he was no more interested in partisan politics. And he stayed off. But the problems happening today, look, you have been the longest serving leader of the People's National Convention. So if you leave the party and the party is not better than you left it, it means that probably you had leadership problems.
Right. Right. Let me find out from you also. You've stated the issues. Now, what is the current state of the PNC? I know you just said that executives have taken executives to court. But what ought to be done immediately to restore the PNC to its glory days? And is it being done? Are there signs that it's going to be done at all?
Well, there cannot be an alternative than for the two people to realize that they have been engaged in actions that will lead us to nowhere. Janet Nabila cannot expect that David Apasara would sit down for her to just rule a timetable and that timetable will be accepted. Or to sit down at a corner and come and issue filing fees and think that the filing fees will be accepted. For instance, there is a roadmap that there is going to be regional congresses at the end of this month. Constituency conferences have not been done. And then you are going to do regional conferences. How are you going to do that? Right? For the first time, constituencies are not paying filing fees to the constituencies. Filing fees from constituencies are expected to be paid to Accra. When David Apasara is no longer a signatory to the party account, Moses Daniba is not a signatory to the party account, Janet is not a signatory to the party account. So even when monies are paid into the party account, how will you assess it? Are those monies going to be paid into somebody's personal account? Certainly no. So the leader of the party, the general secretary of the party, and the national treasurer of the party, any two of them with the main signatory will qualify to sign an event. So you cannot do that. You understand? The second important thing that we must know is that, look, constituency conferences are organized by constituencies but supervised or observed by the regional executives. So you cannot get down from the region or from national and go and say you are organizing constituency congress for anybody. It's not going to be accepted by the constituencies. So the constituency executives form their constituency congress committee or conference committee, and then the conference is organized. The electoral commission comes to supervise. You, the regional officers, go to supervise the constituency conferences. That's all. When you come to the regions, the regional conferences are organized, supervised by the electoral commission, but observed by national officers. So no national officer can go to any region and say you are organizing a regional conference for them. No regional officer can go to a constituency and say you are organizing constituency conferences for them. So you only go to facilitate, to assist them to do. So when you go to a constituency and then you get up and some regional executive get up and say, I have gone to appoint people, electoral commission, come and endorse, those constituencies will fight you. Because they know that the right thing to do is for them to do their thing, and you come to supervise. You give them timelines and you come to observe what is happening. So I think one of the things we have to do is that, look, Janet restored as General Secretary of the party. That is the decision of Congress, which I respect. Moses Daniba restored as National Chairman of the party. Apasara restored as the leader of the party. Let them come together and let them put a proper schedule for us to go to Congress. Any one of them that is seeking either renewal of mandate or even a different or a higher office can then follow suit to say that after we have come together, let's go to Congress. And once Congress take a decision for you, all of us will respect and they will come and support you. Anything short of that, we will be in the court forever. Because I was told when they started this court issue, and I told them that the way I know the cost to work, you will not be able to finish this court by the end of 2021. Wow. They assured me they will finish. 2022 passed. The court is still on. We are in 2024 now, and the court is still on. In fact, the last time I spoke to someone of them, they were of the opinion that by 19 December 2023, they would have dispensed with the court matter and everything will be. Today, we are told that the court now would start another round of hearing them in February. So it means that we are not even sure when we are going to end this court matter, let alone now putting our house in order. So let both sides of David Apasara, Moses Daniba, Janet, Nabila, and her team realize that they cannot hold the party to ransom. I have also asked some of the regions, because I've spoken to both sides. Janet, I've spoken to her, I've spoken to David Apasara and his team. And I've also now asked most of the regions that they should begin probably to put up their own case before the court, that if David Apasara and Janet are in court, the court should treat it as individual cases, so as to allow and liberate the PNC to go ahead to do our National Delegates Congress, so that those who want to take up leadership position can take it up. And I'm certain that once that is done, the party will be able to put itself together, mobilize the needed energy and resources, and launch the campaign that we require to let the people of Ghana vote for us come election 2024.
Do you still have very keen interest in the PNC?
I have no political party than the PNC. Beyond being a Pan-Africanist, the PNC, I have said time without number, is the solution to Ghana's problems. The NDC and MPP are the problems of Ghana. And for the past 31 years, they have not been able to transform themselves from being a problem to being solutions to our problem. Anytime that you hear an NDC person talk, they are talking and lamenting about what the MPP has done to us. Anytime you hear an MPP person talk, they are referring us to the ills of the NDC. Right. So what it means is that it is a race to the bottom. None of them is bringing out solution that will ensure that your colleagues who finish school with you and they cannot find jobs can find jobs to do. Right. My colleagues who finished school 21 years ago from the university are still today not having jobs. You know what they get? They get a 1-year contract somewhere. They go and execute it. When the job is over, they become unemployed. They will take another 6-7 months going around to search for a job. They will go and get another job that may be 2 years, 3 years. They execute that job. When that job is finished, they are unemployed. Right. So the fact that you have people 21 years, just sometimes 21 years from your age, and tell me how old you be. Those people have been unemployed. How are they going to make meaningful life after that? These are the challenges that confront our society. As we speak, the extractive sector of our nation has been completely muscled and sold away. State assets have been taken away from us and given to individuals. We have run this nation in such a reckless manner that it appears that hope has been lost on many of us. So it cannot be that you are expecting NDC to return to power, to come and fix the problem they could not fix in the past 16 years when they were in office. It cannot be that you want to retain NPP in power when they have for 16 years right running, they have been in power and they have not been able to fix the challenges that confront this nation. These are failures, and instead of them to admit their failings, they keep blaming each other for things that have not been done right. The PNC will not come and blame NDC for not doing things right. The PNC will not come and blame the MPP for not doing right. We know that we have failed, and it is our responsibility to come and fix and correct the mess. And that is why the PNC is the party of option. And that is why in 2024, you will see me as the presidential candidate of the People's National Convention.
Wow. Right. Interesting. I'm not sure you've revealed this anywhere.
Well, I've just revealed to you.
Wow. So that's some big news. Bernard Mornah contesting the presidential slot of the People's National
next year by
Convention.
Now. Next year by now,
I may
you will be coming to the Flagstaff House to be speaking to His Excellency,
right. Wow.
President Bernard Anbataayela Mornah.
Wow.
Because I know that you are frustrated and disturbed by what is happening in the NDC.
Wow.
I know you are frustrated and disturbed by how MPP told us they were going to fix our mess and they have not fixed. You cannot vote for any one of them if sincerely you want your life to be better.
What has this decision, what has got to do with this decision primarily? I mean, I understand that we are currently in an economic turmoil. Things are not looking good at all. But, to decide that you are going to contest the presidency, if given the opportunity by your party, you are going to contest on the ticket of the PNC, something else must have driven you to do that. What exactly are these, instigating factors?
I just see weak leadership in our nation. And apart from Kwame Nkrumah, maybe Achampon and President Mills, all other leaders have not shown the muscle that is required to tell off the world that Ghana is Ghana, that Africa is Africa, and that African resources are for Africans. See, if I listen and understand the philosophy of even those who belong to the New Patriotic Party, their philosophy is property owning democracy. Right? Their philosophy is largely a capitalist orientation. Their philosophy is that you should create businessmen, wealthy capitalists. Do you create capitalists by asking foreigners to come and take over the commanding height of your economy? What you do is that you identify local businessmen and women, empower them so that they take control of the commanding height of your economy. So if you go to Korea, if you go to Israel, if you go to China, what the Chinese governments have done is that they create their own businessmen and women. You know the Wu company? It's a Chinese, a Korean company. Small contracts and cars. Today, the Wu is one of the biggest giants because the government decided to support that and they have grown. You know Huawei as a company.
Yeah.
The Chinese government has sponsored and supported Huawei that they have become an international giant. Do you understand? If you go to even Brazil under Lula da Silva, they sponsored companies, construction companies, that could now export their construction works to other countries, including Ghana. The Ghanaian contractor in Ghana, anytime they give you contract, they will fail to pay you your contract money, but they will pay the foreigner faster so that they can go out there. So you are muscling out the Ghanaian businessmen and women and allowing foreigners to take control of the commanding height of your economy. Thereby, you have exported your economy away from local ownership. Go to the extractive sector, and I have said this time without number, that there cannot be any reason whatsoever that Ghana will be endowed with gold in such enormous proportion and still continue to be poor. If it is the case that our mining laws have allowed us to give mining concessions to individuals who will take everything away and come and give us a paltry percentage as royalties, we have to refine our mining laws to ensure that the state of Ghana and the people of Ghana benefit. No person can come into this country and invest into any extractive sector without the people and the government of Ghana owning at least 55% of it. That is the only way we can do, and that is why I have rubbished this attempt that we are going to get a lithium concession for some people, when in fact lithium is now the new prime resource in the world, that the people and the state of Ghana should mind that.
Yeah.
That is the only way we can have total liberation of our resources for the benefit of the people of Ghana. That weak leadership is what is compelling this one. Look, let me give you an insider. Recently, there was the New Force Foundation.
Yep.
That had organized a program.
Yep.
Bringing some of the eloquent African speakers, Erika Nakwao, PLO Lumumba, Peter Obi, and of course, Julius Malema.
Yeah.
Despite that, Julius Malema did not come to Ghana. But the fact that they were supposed to be in Ghana and to speak their mind on what we can do as Africans, they were to share their ideas and to incentivize the young people to believe in the continent of Africa. Last minute, the government of Ghana issues a statement and says that they are going to have an alternative activity at the Black Star Square.
Which never happened anyway.
What alternative activity took place on that day? No activity took that place. They scattered the event. The information I've gathered is that it had to take the United States of America and the United Kingdom to issue a threat to the government of Ghana.
Oh.
And Akufo-Addo acquiesced timidity that if you allow these people to come and speak, your IMF thing, we will scatter it. And because of that, the government had to scatter and shatter Africans from hearing some of the things that could inspire us. When you have such weak leadership, who will kowtow to the United States of America and to the United Kingdom, and so what they say is what we must listen to, how do you think that we can move forward? Look, it took the United States of America that hates African progress to force President Kufuor to say that they are changing the name of the Sankara interchange to Akwaje, because the United States did not feel that Sankara is their friend and therefore we should change it. When we finished changing that name and President Kufuor offered the excuse that we have many heroes in our country and there's no reason why we should bring an African name, President Kufuor went and gave a highway to George Bush.
Yeah.
Is he a Ghanaian? There are no heroes any longer in Ghana. We went and named one, Obasanjo. I don't have a problem with Obasanjo. But if Sankara cannot get a place to be named after him in Ghana, then Obasanjo could not also have been given a place in Ghana.
Not to even talk of Bush.
Then you go and bring George Bush. Such timidity of our leaders is also partly responsible to the decadence in our economy. You must be able to speak out and to stand for what will benefit the people of Ghana. We are not running because we want the United States of America to fall. We are not having our nations, or we don't want Africa's prosperity because we think that other parts of the world should go down. Africa's prosperity has nothing whatsoever to do with competing the United States of America's prosperity. Africa's prosperity has nothing to do with competing with China's prosperity. Africa wants to be prosperous for the well-being of its own citizens, and to ensure that we also live as human beings with dignity and with social pride.
Right. Somebody watching may want to find out from you. Is it a decision you had to make unilaterally, or I mean, you sat down, thought about it thoroughly, and you felt like, look, I think it was high time I contested this position to bring economic prosperity to my people, to the people of Ghana, or it was advice and admonitions that you received from persons that has pushed you to go on this course?
I must admit that since 2012, there has been enormous pressure from within my political party and my family that you should go higher in your pursuit, given your vision, given your orientation, given the manner in which you carry yourself. They could see this in me. In 2016, in 2012, I declined. Hassan Ayerga came and won the presidential primaries of the PNC, and people started accusing me that it is because I did not step forward. But I also thought differently. In 2016, they compelled, and I said, no, you had other people that I thought they were better than me who were in the race, they should contest. In 2020 was even much bigger. Some ones of the People's National Convention have accused me that they deliberately punished me because anytime they say go for flag bearer, you declined. But above all, I was the coordinator of the Pan-African Federalist Movement, West Africa. And by the works that we have done, many of the young people within the West African zone in particular have been yearning to see that you are running for president. Right? You can start from Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea. You can go to Cape Verde, come to Togo, and many other places. And these young people that you have worked with, they see the dynamism that you have displayed at almost every conference. They see the bubbling ideas that you bring. They see the liberation fire in you. And all those things have compelled me. Just when I returned from Accra, from Sankana, through the northern region, I was with some senior fellow that I had gone to seek advice. And then I got a call from my friends from Benin. You know, their English is not that good. And I was talking. Then the first question is, they always call me Mr. President. Mr. President, when are you launching your campaign? So this senior person that was not sure whether I should contest or not, eventually listening to the people from outside who thought that Africa and our sub-region can be well shaped with ideas that we have put together over the period. Then he turned around and said, he was hesitant in telling me to contest. But with what he's hearing from these people, it's evident that you are more than we have always assumed you to be. And so it is a big thing. Just that I can tell you that my kids, one of them called me a few days ago and said, he has been seeing people pushing you to go for presidential elections. I said, yes. They said, Dad, I don't do it. And I asked him why. He said, anytime you are into a contest, you forget that you have a family. You put your all into that contest. We suffer. So now that you are not into any competitive race, you see we have you as a father. Then I said, my children are many. Biologically, you are few. But socially, I have many children. And they see and they benefit from the things I do. Would you want me to be your father, or you want the entire nation and the continent of Africa to have me as their father? Then he sat back I said, you always have a way to convince us. Go and be the father of the children of Africa. And so with that, I have the blessing of my kids to lead Ghana and Africa.
You do realize, and I'm sure you cannot even admit or attest to the fact that the ascension to the high office of president is one that does not come, I wouldn't say on a silver platter, but it doesn't come cheap at all. I'm speaking, or I'm saying this in terms of the finances. It's a costly venture. I'm hearing that the filing fee has been pegged at 100,000 cedis. That is just the filing fee. I'm sure there's a lot that you'd have to do with regards to the erection of billboards, your posters and flyers. I mean, people
and looking for your services in promoting the
exactly, and all of that. All of these are finances. Maybe I don't know. Tell me, you have the finances to sponsor all of these things.
I recall Kwame Nkrumah was not a rich man when he decided to become the leader of our nation. He used his ideas, and the ideas mobilized resources for him. Except you tell me that I'm wrong. I don't recall that Buzia was such a rich man. Neither do I recall that Liman was a rich man.
Our politics then, you would admit again
would you mind
it wasn't monetized as we see now.
Would you mind as I speak?
Well,
I am not aware that Bobby Wine, my brother Bobby Wine in Uganda, who has placed himself as an alternative to Yoweri Museveni, is because he's wealthy. I am not sure that it is the wealth of my kid brother Malema that has made him what he is in South Africa, that you see him as an icon of African liberation. I am not aware that Ousmane Sonko, that I speak fondly of, one of our young brothers in Senegal, is doing this because, or Idrissa Yakuba in Burkina Faso. These young men only use their energy to magnify, and people supported them. I am confident. In fact, the day that the Genes team announced that they had pegged filing fee at 100,000, first I said that what madness is that PNC leadership is now being priced for the highest bidder. But before I could say Jack, and look, before I could say Jack, I had just 10 people. When one of them called me, Chairman, they have announced the presidential candidate, so filing fees. So my contribution is 10,000 Ghana cedis. I said, but we are talking about 100,000. He said he has spoken to 10 other people. And so they already have mobilized 110,000 cedis. 10,000 times 11. That's 110,000. So you can pay your filing fee, pick your nomination form. These are people genuinely that said that, look, we know you will come and tell us you don't have money. So we have already planned. We 10 are ready today. We are going to pick your filing fee. You are not your form. And we are going to let you, as soon as we take it, we are going to take it around the regions. Then when they finish, we'll come and give to you, you endorse, boom. Then we will go and file for you. So when you are marketable, when you represent the ideas and the embodiment of the youth of this nation, they will rally for you. There are many young people that tell me that, look, Bernard, create just maybe, what do we call that thing? A crowdfunding system. Yeah. So that we can be contributing 1 cedi, 2 cedi to support you. If I get 1 cedi, 2 cedi a day for about 500,000 people, how many cedis will I get in a day? So if I have 500,000 Ghanaians, 500,000, not 1 million, every day giving you, or every week giving you 1 cedi, how much will I get to run my campaign? So where I sit, it is that encouragement, particularly from the young people. It is that encouragement from the aged who have sat and will be calling you and say, Bernard, do it. It is not what I have. The little I have already even started dissipating. The little I have, I dissipate in sports. You know, I do sports. Not only do I play, but I also am an administrator in sports. I do football. Yeah. I do volleyball. I do basketball. I do many other things in sports that you don't do. I go to the farm. As you are aware, I don't play with my farm work. We are doing a number of things. So, yes, finances as an individual, I don't have the kind of finances that you are looking for. But looking at it from the global picture of the unemployed in society who even want to contribute the little they have to support the campaign, I can tell you probably my campaign will be more oiled than the Obama campaign.
Wow. Wow. Interesting. Now, let me find out from you. I'm sure that there's competition. You are not running for the presidential flag bearer race of the PNC solitarily. I'm sure there are other people who are also contesting. I don't know if Mr. David Apasira has interest. I don't know. I've heard Janet herself also has interest. Samson Asaki Wingobit, I understand, also has interest. I mean, can you confirm that to even begin with?
First and foremost, nominations have not been opened.
Okay.
So everybody is speculating your thoughts.
Okay.
And these things you are saying, they are thoughts. Maybe if you invite them, they will come and confirm or deny.
Right.
One of the important things is that I'm going to contest. And as I said, if the filing fees is even raised to $1 million, I'm sure that many Ghanaians will raise $1 million for me to file. So it's not an issue. I'm going to contest. Whoever is coming to contest, or how many people are coming to contest, it will be them against Bernard Mornah. One of the things that I see is that my ideas are going to win the elections for me.
I wanted to find out from you that what's that one thing that places you.
It is my ideas, it is
people.
my commitment, it is the determination that I've shown, it is the sacrifices that I've put my life to all these years, that I have labored, I have continued, and I continue to labor for the underprivileged in society. I've spoken for them. I have been beaten for them. And many people just see that, look, we have this young man of courage who will do what he says he wants to do. And so I see the potency. How many times have I not told you that, look, it has been a silly policy to say that you are doing one district, one factory, when the state of Ghana does not own it. So at the end of the day, you have said that you have established over 120 factories. And we ask you, how many people have they employed? And what items are they producing, and for which market and for which people? And you are not able to identify. When Kwame Nkrumah established those factories, he had a vision. For instance, the Kumasi shoe factory. What was it supposed to do? It was supposed to provide shoes, not only for schools, but for all the security agencies. Do you know the number of goods that the security agencies have to buy and the quantum that they buy from outside of Ghana? When we established the Bonsa car tie factory, the car ties that we were producing in Ghana, we collapsed it. Do you know how many vehicles run in Ghana that we have to import ties? So those things were state-owned. We established the jute factory, whereby we use the bags to be able to bag our cocoa. Today, every bag that we use to bag our cocoa, we have to import it. Do you know how much money we are expending? So if I become, and when I become president of this republic, and I talk about factories, those factories will be owned and managed by the state.
Wow, interesting. Interesting conversation here on tonight's edition, I beg your pardon, of Talk Time, not with Kwesi Pratt, but of course with me, Koku Alamasor. We're having conversations in relation to the People's National Convention, PNC. Comrade Bernard Mornah just made a revelation, or he just revealed to us that he will be contesting the presidential primaries of the PNC, and consequently, if he's able to get the nod of the delegates, of the PNC delegates, then he will go into the 2024 elections on the ticket of the People's National Convention. I want to find out from you, and this will be my final question.
I hope you don't come and say final.
No, this will be my final question. If you look at the current stature of the PNC and you decide to put it on equal footing with the two major political parties, the National Democratic Congress and then, of course, the New Patriotic Party. These two political parties have planned thoroughly going into the 2024 general elections. Your party, as we speak now, is without national executives to even start with. Is there any glimmer of hope that within the short period of time available, it's January, in just about 11 months more, we'll be going to, in less than 11 months actually, we'll be voting, we'll be electing a president. Do you think that with the time available, it is enough to actually make a difference in the 2024 polls as the flag bearer of the PNC?
Well, first and foremost, Michael Sata of Zambia was in opposition. I remember when he was there and I went there, we were almost arrested and lynched because we supported the opposition presidential candidate. And in supporting the opposition presidential candidate, he had contested elections and his party did not win even a single seat in parliament. He had to run into exile in Malawi, and the Malawian government deported him. When he was coming, he was almost picked up at the airport. We had to serve as human shields to go and liberate one of our own. Michael Sata came back, and then it took him another year of contest. He went and contested. From 0 seats, he had 4 seats in parliament. The next time from 4 seats, Michael Sata became the president of Zambia. Right? Then you take the story of Adama. Those of you who know, my friends, Dr. Ahmad Mafati and others, were in Ghana and they virtually stayed with me. At the time, many people accused me that anytime you see opposition anywhere, you see Bernard Mornah. Mafati and Adama were always my guests in Ghana. Nobody gave them a dog's chance. On 1st December 2016, I got a call from Ahmad Fati telling me that they have won the elections. And I quickly told them that, has Yahya Jammeh accepted the results? They said yes. I said, let the president-elect leave the Gambia, because I have picked some signal that Yahya Jammeh will come back and say that he does not accept the results. They didn't want to believe me. I called somebody from Senegal. They went and persuaded Adama Barrow, and they went to Senegal. Just soon after that, Yahya Jammeh said he will not accept the elections result. How many days did it take Adama Barrow to come and defeat almighty Yahya Jammeh? It worked. In our nation, it will not take a miracle for us to do so. All it has to take is for us to go out there and to tell the truth, and to take the record of the NDC and the NPP. And by the time we finish analyzing their record, Bless, you run out of Pan-Africa television and join the campaign wagon of Bernard Mornah to bring about the change that this nation requires. Because salvation cannot be in the hands of the NDC and the NPP.
Right. There's a final question I have.
I don't have a problem. I told
there's a final question I have. If you feel in your bid to land the presidency going forward, is it a dead dream, or you are going to keep that dream alive? Perhaps 2028, perhaps 2032, perhaps 2036, if you're strong, hale and hearty.
I will be strong, hale and hearty, because I'm a sportsman. I do horsebacking, and I know it gives me enormous energy and drive. But most importantly, I will not fail. I have put in the needed structure to ensure that I not only win the PNC flag bearership, but I'll win Ghana's presidency. So don't doubt the capacity of this young man sitting here. We're winning. Don't doubt our ability to transform our nation from its current woods to a prosperous nation. Don't doubt that Ghana, that was touted by the UN in the 1960s, that we could become the net importer of labor, and that today we are struggling with youth unemployment, that 2025 and beyond, I would not behave like a mama who will be looking for a honeymoon so that I will get time to be able to fix the problems before I can now, or to expose the problems. We know the problems that are facing us today. We know that the Bretton Woods institutions will come and tell us that things are doing well. You wait when I win 2024 and we are sworn into office 2025, the Bretton Woods institution will come and tell you how terrible the Akufo-Addo government has run this economy. And that if you don't go back to the IMF, you will not be able to survive. We'll tell them to their face, keep your IMF, and we'll keep our resources.
Right. Thank you very much, Comrade Bernard Mornah. It's been a very eye-opening, very insightful conversation here on TalkTime as well. We have had discussions about the People's National Convention, their current stature as a political party heading into 2024. But I think the news when it comes to this conversation is the fact that Bernard Anbataayela Mornah is contesting the presidential primaries of the PNC, and hopefully on 7th December 2024 you are going to see his face on the ballot paper with the Kube symbol of the PNC there, and the box for you to put your thumbprint in there for him. And if God wills it, on 7th January 2025 he will be sworn in as President of the Republic of Ghana. I'm speaking to a potential president to even start with. It's been a very interesting conversation here on TalkTime. I sat in for Comrade Kwesi Pratt, and I'm sure that you've enjoyed the conversation as much as I have. We'll catch you same time next week on TalkTime. Bye-bye.